Okay, this is site number 5. Found the marker. Actually, see one of the holes, although that may be related to the sampling or maybe a mouse hole, I don't know. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and at this site, I'm going ahead and remove some plants because I don't want roots in my sample. So I'm going to take that plant out. There he is. Got to get rid of everything. Take out a couple of those plants. Making sure I don't have any interruption there. Now I'm going to level it off. So I'm going to kind of take down that ridge a little bit. Now we'll level it off with our template. Get that out of there. And I really want to center it in where the old sample was pulled. So I got to dig it out a little more. There we go. And that's going to center the template. Now, whoops, better make it a little more, looks like it's straight. I want it perpendicular to the direction any nitrogen was applied, if I can, best I can. It's 30 inches, so theoretically, since it's 30-inch knife spacing on the toolbar that applied the nitrogen, I'll only intercept one knife pulling the 10 cores because they're 3 inches apart. Okay. Put the bags under the bucket. I lock the bucket down so it doesn't blow across the field and me chase it. I lock down the template so that it doesn't move when I pull the cores. Makes for a bad day if that happens. I've got a brush to clean if I need it. And this is the important part, the plunger. The plunger cleans out the probe to get that last bit of soil out of it. Now again, I didn't do a very good job cleaning it from my last sample. So, since I'm on video, I better clean it. Okay. Now, we're going to pull samples. Now I'm going to pull this flag out so I don't step on it. I'm going to reuse it. Ooh, it goes in really well. Now, I've got this probe notched at 12 inches. You can see I pulled a good core that time. I put it across the bucket with this little indentation so that I get the 12 inches over the bucket. And I go after it. This one is probably the best pulling so far of all the sites I've done today. Whoops. Shot out a little too far. Try to get all the soil in the bucket. This video is going to make my final cut because it's so easy compared to the other sites. Whoa, that was really easy there. I hit an air pocket. Yep. Sample number 7. 7, you see by the numbering system there. Relatively dry. Hoping for a rain first part of the week. It's Thursday. No rain, maybe a chance of rain tomorrow, but probably it's not going to rain until Monday or Tuesday. Okay, soil core number 9. Relatively easy. Notice how this plunger really gets the soil out quickly. I want to show you an attribute that's very helpful. See that washer? Keeps my hand from getting pinched on the end of that probe. So when it hits, there you go. Now, those engineers out there that are watching this video, I need this into the plunger at an angle so that when I get a plugged up probe, I can put it under there and slide it out. Right now it's not angled. I need an angled one. make these, sell them along with the Backsaver probe, and make a couple of dollars someday. Okay, first sample is in the bag, or I should say in the bucket, soon to be in the bag. These are take-home bags. I got them online. They're oversized. They're like take-home food. They're lined, and they have a tin foil or a tin piece of wire in the top so that I can fold them over just like a regular soil sample bag. The thing is, you have to use the oversized bags because when you pull 10 cores 12 inches deep, that's a lot bigger sample than a normal soil sample, and it won't fit in the bag. Now, it's imperative that the lab you work with to run these tests process this whole sample. They do not subsample out of this and then dry and grind. They have to dry and grind this whole sample. It's a game stopper if they say they won't. Go to a lab that does, they do. I have been using A&L Great Lakes Lab at Fort Wayne, Indiana, because they've never once objected to doing it that way, and they've really been helpful. So I've been using them exclusively here in with my company that I now run, taking these samples. Okay, now we're going for the second one. So I put the probe in the same hole and I put my foot on. Now this is the value of the Backsaver. It goes deeper, so I go down to a mark that's on the rod that holds onto the probe. I pull it up, and there's the second 12 inches. Now, some people don't want to sample 24 inches deep. They say they don't need it. Well, the ones that say that, I suspect they say that because they don't want to pull a sample 12 inches deep. There's no data that says you should or should not. Since I've been sampling for 12 years, I say I should, therefore I will. You can pull it any depth you want, but don't ask me to interpret the data. All right. Probably won't ask me anyway, but I pretty much know how to interpret this data since I've been sampling. I've sampled, personally, I've probably sampled well over 800 sites. I've evaluated over 1,500 sites from the standpoint of the interpretation. Okay, let's see here. I kind of got talking. Let's see here. Do I say? Yeah. So now, normally, if I lose track of where I'm sampling on that second foot, which I did, I use the staff of the flag, because the staff of the flag is 24 inches. Now it tells me I haven't sampled 4, but I have sampled 3, so it gets me back on track, so I don't miss a core. Okay, 5. Hit something relatively hard on 5. I don't know what that was, but it made it hard to get out, so it must have been a rock. Notice how it shaved off. So it was a rock or something. It's hard to get this out because it compacts it into the probe. This is where I need that angled piece to put it under there and to scrape that out. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a little bit of a pain to get it out. Now, this little bit here is pressed in so tight, I have to use both hands and push. And then put that in the sample bag or sample bucket. Normally when that happens, I kind of clean it just to make sure there's no clay that slows it down. I'm pretty sure that was 5. Yep. So let's go to 6. I don't like that happening more than once on a site. 6. 7. 8. 9. Sometimes some loose soil falls in the top of the hole. Can't stop that, so there's a little error from that. Just a little. And 10. So there's sample 12 to 24 inches. Hold the bag down that's left. Whoops. Now that's what's going to happen. Okay. Hold the bag down that's left with my foot. And then put sample number 2, 12 to 24 inches into the bag. I put the sample that's already pulled in this bucket so that it doesn't blow away. And I finished sample number 2. Now, I got to make sure that I take out of the field the 5 pieces that I brought in. So here's 2, 3, 4, and then my plunger, which is 5. So I got my 5 pieces. I get everything out of the way. Now comes the destructive part. Okay, now I put the marker flag right in the middle of the probe. So next time I come, I know where I had sampled, so I just move the template a little further away by inches and pull another sample. Now the reason for that is minimizing spatial variation. Try to sample the same site. Okay, now I want to come back at pre-tassel, tassel time, pull another sample. And at that time, I want to know if I have gained or lost nitrogen. Well, in order to do that, I have to make a spot that has no plants. So I got to make a bare spot, and it's 10 foot by 10 foot generally. And I come back at tassel time, and if it's a bare spot 10 by 10, I go back into the middle of that spot, pull a sample, and at that time, if the soil organic matter has released nitrogen, which it does, the amount of plant available nitrogen should go up. I've measured it as much as over 100 to 120 pounds of extra nitrogen from comparing it from the sampling date, like right now, to VT. So I've gained over 100 pounds, which is expected because of mineralization. However, if I sample now and I compare that to the tassel time sampling, and it's the same number or less, then that tells me that I've had an environment conducive for significant loss. And in this area, it's by denitrification. So I look for those rain events that kept the soil saturated and hot and warm. And I've done that in 2 years. I think it was 2018 and 2021. I measured significant loss in those years. So that gives the farmer one last opportunity to come in with a wide drop or maybe an aerial application of a foliar methylene urea, slow release nitrogen, and give it a little supplemental in to help from or compensate for that loss. And that's the only way we'll know. And I'm so surprised. Farmers haven't been thinking about this and at least adopting this technology, or I should say this tool, in order to help them estimate whether or not they need supplemental nitrogen. So anyway, I'm going to go through the destruction. I have to tear out not only the plant, but I have to tear out the root, basically the seed, because these are rolled up plants. The growing point's below ground. I have to take out the growing point, or when I come back, the plants are going to be there again. So I'm going to go ahead and destroy these plants. It's boring to watch me do that, so I'm going to shut the video off and we'll move on to the next site.